Hello everybody and welcome back to Performance on Wheels.
Because of the current car market, this past year was the first time since 2012 I went without having an enjoyable car in the garage.
Since 2012, my dad has had some of the coolest vehicles on the road, from a 2012 Dodge Challenger, to a heavily modified Nissan GTR, to the rear-wheel drive, aggressive, angry 2015 F-Type R, to a random 1999 Corvette, to this.
The 2022 BMW M240i xDrive. This is a car that was not on my radar at all when I was car shopping. The reason for that is the first generation I just wasn't really a fan of. I didn't like the way it looked. A big part of the reason I didn't like the way it looked was the taillights. They looked pieced together. And I thought the same thing when I saw the G42, the second generation of that M240i, until I heard about why they look the way they did.
We might as well start this video off with the most controversial part about the new BMW 2 Series, and that is the taillights. And I agree with my dad. At first, I thought they were incredibly ugly until I listened to the designer talk about the design cues of them. Starting off with this vertical line, which shows the width of the vehicle to accentuate the rear end. This 2 Series is 2 to 3 inches wider than the previous generation 2 Series and 2 to 3 inches wider than the current generation 3 Series.
That next part of the taillights is that 45-degree angle that takes off of the vertical line, this guy right here. And what that does is it kind of shows the shoulder of the car, how broad it is. And it does an awesome job of leading right up to that body line.
The next part is the descending line from that, which follows the body line above this one perfectly. That body line carries all the way to the front of the vehicle.
Looks really good. The last line on that taillight is the horizontal line. And that horizontal line, you can see it just follows the trunk line all the way to where it meets up with the other taillights.
And all of this together is made to look like a prototype race car, is what the designer's goal was, to make it look like some funky IMSA vehicle driving in front of you on the highway at night. Racy, fast.
There's a lot of dimension in the taillight as well, which the video doesn't really pick that up. I can stick my finger in here and I get almost to my knuckle of my index finger when I stick my finger in, just to give you an idea of how much dimension there is. The other thing that's kind of fun that I just noticed is that fun little BMW that's illuminated right on the side.
Starting off with the front end, I just wanted to talk briefly about the design.
Hang on.
Whoa.
Let's say hello. Hey.
I just wanted to talk briefly about the design because based on a lot of other vehicles BMW is producing right now, this car is very different. It doesn't have those massive, absurd grills that a lot of people don't really care for. They've grown on me a little bit, but I do prefer this look. This is kind of the traditional BMW look, and I really think they nailed the design of this.
Yeah, so it's actually the first time the Mexican, BMW of Mexico, they were honored the reward for the design of the vehicle. It was a Mexican designer. The car is produced in Mexico. It's assembled in Mexico. A good majority of those parts are coming from Mexico. There's actually, I think it's 40% are coming from Germany, a handful from Mexico, a handful from the US and Canada. But anyways, were awarded that car, and his whole concept was it's a smaller compact car, so it needs the more traditional smaller compact grills.
Yep.
And it really flows perfectly with the headlights.
Yeah, I love the front end of this car. I've heard some people say they don't like it. I don't know how. I think it looks great in the front. I think they nailed it. I think it's spot on. I love the power bulge. I love the whole side profile. I mean, I really think they did a good job with it.
Yeah, so we're viewing the car, and the car I purchased is in mineral white. I like that color when there's some direct sunlight on it, because you can pick up the pearl on it.
There's some cool lighting when going on inside of here too.
Yeah, but when it's in the right sheen of light is on it, it almost looks like it's flat, right?
Yeah, there's some areas it looks like it's like a straight matte white. There's some areas it looks like the pearliest white you've ever seen. It's a very I don't know how to say it. It goes back and forth between looking like different colors and different lighting.
I will, in my opinion, full disclosure comment here, I think this car looks really good in a darker color.
Yep. And the purple that it comes in, the gray that it comes in,
the blue, the red, anything that's got some boldness to it, I think it really highlights this car. Even black.
Yep.
Black ones of these look awesome.
M Performance makes some cool stickers for the hood and the side. I think you should move forward with putting those on, just because you can't see some of the really cool body design cues because it doesn't have that color to show it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The designer, all these jagged, bold lines, they stand out in those darker colors.
Yep.
I also heard the designer say that was a big part, that with these bold lines, that with some of the overhangs, you can take some really good photos of this car. There's a lot of shadowing that occurs, so it just gives a lot of dimension to this car, and that's exactly what caught my eye.
One of the cool design cues that I like on the back here is sort of the built-in spoiler. I'm not talking about this little stick-on one on the back. I'm talking about the one that's actually integrated in the trunk here. When my dad picked the car up in Arizona, he actually sent me a photo. There was like a pool of water like sitting right here on the trunk, and it kind of left a stain. He told the dealer not to touch it because he wanted to wash it himself for the first time. You can also see down here, there's that same lip, which creates some cool shadowing for photos and stuff like that. It'd look really cool with a little duckbill wing right on top of that.
You can see that I'm sitting in the red interior, like a $1,400 option. We'll get into some of the options that this specific model has on a future video. Over the 3-month search that I had for an M240i, I did get pretty darn familiar with the options that are standard, the options that are available, and even the ones that are being removed by the manufacturer because of the chip shortage in one way. So stay tuned for a future video if that is something that is going to be of interest to you. So why did I choose the new M240i with that B58 inline 6? Let me break it down for you. I was looking for a car in the $40,000 to $60,000 price range. Now pre-COVID, when I bought that Jaguar F-Type R with 550 horsepower, supercharged V8, amazing car to drive, with the exact same ZF 8-speed transmission that is in this M240i, with the exception that this one has PTO for the all-wheel drive system. It's a really awesome transmission. That when I learned that the ZF 8-speed is in the M240i, again, that was another checkbox on this is a car I'm going to pursue. Anyways, so I'm looking for a car in the $40,000 to $60,000 price range. I learned that pre-COVID there were all these fun options that I was after. C63s, Z06s, or Grand Sports, or an M4. I was looking at old Jaguar XKs, CTSVs. There's a lot of cars that were in that price range. Now, in 2022, with this chip shortage, the new cars are more attractive to buy than the used cars. The issue is that there are none. So you can get a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old car that's got some miles on it, some wear on it, no warranty, for the same price as a new car if you can find one at MSRP that a dealer is not marking up. So I narrowed my search down to 2 cars that I was specifically after. A brand new Cadillac CT4 Blackwing, amazing car, awesome car. I'd still like to own one. The issue with that was it was exceeding my budget. I was still willing to do it just because I think the car is really awesome. I've driven one. I think it's a lot of fun, really well put together. But after an automatic transmission, which my wife says I have to get, we're pushing a $70,000 car. So that alone is the reason why I did not pursue that. My vision came solely onto the M240i and the 3-month search began. I was not going to order one. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to have that anxiety of my car getting canceled or postponed. And I also was not going to pay over MSRP. No market adjustments for me. So I had one that was used as a dealer loaner car in Chicago. I had a deposit on that one when it became available to purchase. It was scratched up. It had some chips in it. The windshield had been repaired. I still slightly regret not buying it just because it was a good deal. They were going to give me $2,500 off of MSRP for this car that had 4,000 miles on it. Probably beat to crap. It had already been through a Chicago winter, so I don't really feel that bad about it. The next car I was very close to buying was identical to this one out of Milwaukee. We went back and forth for about a month while we were waiting for that car to ship and show up. It took 48 days from final assembly to arrive on the dealer lot. This one that I'm sitting in, fun fact, in case you're watching this video waiting for your M240i, it took 38 days from final assembly for it to show up. So that car, they wanted $4,000 over MSRP, or they were lowballing the trade potentially. And we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff in our video when it comes to car buying tips in our current environment. The M240i, I set my eyes on it. Under 4 seconds, 0 to 60 time, a low 12-second quarter mile, can pull nearly a G on a skid pad, and I can have gas mileage that is over 30 miles per gallon if I'm just out cruising. I have the German luxury, all the latest and greatest technology, adaptive headlights. Like, what's up? I have a warranty. My vision and mind was set. I found one down in Arizona, and it is now mine. Drove it 1,600 miles home. This is the start of our journey with you guys on Performance on Wheels.
I'm really looking forward to this car being on the channel now. My dad's interested in doing some mods to it. I'm excited to do them with him. Thinking about maybe doing a tune and exhaust when it comes out, an intake. Nothing too crazy because we want to keep the warranty. But yeah, maybe lower it, some wheels on it, get a nice stance to it. Man, this thing's going to look really cool. So if you guys are looking forward to that, please comment down below what ideas that you have. Trying to think of some wheel options and stuff like that. These factory ones are all right, but definitely could do better. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for tuning into the video today. I hope it helped you in some way in pursuing your new BMW M240i.